The reason you can't focus right now is because the version of you who used to care is already gone. This is something elsey. I've been staring at the same screen for 45 minutes, and even though the cursor is blinking, your brain is completely offline. You have a to-do list that could fill a notebook, chores that are piling up, and goals that used to make your blood pump with excitement. But now, they just feel like heavy weights tied to your ankles. It isn't that you're lazy, and it isn't that you've lost your edge. It's that you are physically and mentally hitting an invisible wall that no amount of caffeine or hustle culture quotes can break through. It feels like a glitch in the system, a sudden loss of signal between your desires and your ability to execute. Most people will tell you that you just need more discipline or a better morning routine, but they're wrong. You aren't failing because you lack willpower. You're failing because you are unknowingly fighting a biological and spiritual karma reset that you are currently losing. I spent years trying to push through this exact feeling, treating it like a personal defect, until I realized that the harder I fought, the deeper I sank. I finally stopped fighting the burnout, and I did something else instead, something that changed the entire trajectory of my life. For the longest time, I thought burnout was just about being tired. I thought it was the result of working too many hours or not getting enough sleep. But there is a specific type of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. It's the kind of tired that lives in your soul. You wake up after 8 hours of rest and you still feel like you're walking through waist-deep water. This is where the misunderstanding begins. In our society, especially in the US, we are conditioned to believe that if we aren't moving forward, we are falling behind. We view any dip in productivity as a moral failure. But what if that stuck feeling isn't a sign that you're broken, but a signal that your current life path has officially expired? We need to differentiate between standard burnout and what I call the reset phase. Standard burnout is mechanical. You ran the engine too hard and you need oil. The reset phase is different. It's structural. It means the version of you that started this journey, the one with those specific goals, that specific ego, and those specific habits has reached its limit. You've outgrown your current reality, but you're still trying to live inside it. Imagine a snake trying to grow while refusing to shed its old skin. The skin becomes tight, itchy, and suffocating. It limits movement and eventually becomes painful. The snake isn't depressed or unmotivated. It is simply undergoing a necessary transformation that requires it to be vulnerable and still for a moment. This is exactly what you are going through right now. The discomfort you feel, that friction in your daily life where everything feels harder than it used to be, is the feeling of your old identity trying to survive in a body that no longer needs it. You are shedding a layer of yourself. This isn't a breakdown. It is a breakthrough in disguise. You feel stuck because you're trying to use old tools to build a new life. You're trying to force the old you to be productive, but the new you hasn't been fully born yet. When I finally stopped fighting this, I realized that my lack of motivation wasn't an enemy to be conquered, but a protective mechanism. My soul was literally pulling the plug on my old operating system because a massive update was trying to download. The reason this feels so scary is that we live in a world that demands constant visibility and constant doing. We are terrified of the gap between who we were and who we are becoming. We call it a crisis, but it's actually a karma reset, a period where the universe or your subconscious mind forces a halt so you can settle your old debts with yourself. You have to stop looking at this as a loss of time. If you keep trying to power through a reset phase with the same grind mentality that got you here, you will only prolong the pain. You'll end up in a loop of perpetual exhaustion. To move forward, you have to accept that the you who got you to this point cannot take you to the next one. This realization is the first step in reclaiming your power. It's about shifting from a state of resistance to a state of observation. Instead of asking, "Why can't I get things done?" you start asking, "What part of me is finished?" Once you stop the internal war, the energy you've been using to fight yourself starts to pool back up. You aren't losing your fire. You're just gathering the wood for a much larger one dot to navigate this phase. You have to understand the trap of the grind culture that dominates our modern mindset. In the US, we are fed a constant narrative that rest is for the weak and that showing up is 90% of the battle. But when you are in a karma reset, showing up with the same frantic energy is actually what keeps you paralyzed. You are leaking energy because you are trying to fix a version of yourself that is already gone. Think of it like trying to repair a car while it's hurtling down the highway at 80 miles per hour. It's dangerous, inefficient, and ultimately impossible. This is where the concept of the void or quiet transformation comes in. The void is that uncomfortable middle ground where the old you has died, but the new you hasn't quite arrived yet. It feels like emptiness, boredom, or a lack of purpose, but in reality, it is a mechanical requirement for the next level of your life. You cannot pour new wine into an old, cracked bottle. You have to let the bottle be empty for a while, so it can be reinforced. Most of us are terrified of the silence that comes with this void. We fill it with scrolling, mindless chores, or fake work just to feel like we're still part of the race. But every time you reach for a distraction to avoid the discomfort of being stuck, you are delaying your breakthrough. You have to learn how to sit in the stillness and allow the new energy to form. This isn't a luxury, it's a strategy. During this stage of the reset, your reflection process becomes your most productive task. It's about auditing where your energy has been going and realizing that much of it was spent performing a role that no longer fits. Are you chasing goals because you actually want them, or because you're afraid of what people will think if you stop? This phase is designed to strip away the performative layers of your life. It feels like you're losing your ambition, but you're actually losing your illusions. You are clearing the clutter so that when the new you finally clicks into place, you have the space to actually move. This quiet transformation requires a radical shift in how you view progress. In a you-centric productivity model, progress is a straight line going up. In a karma reset, progress looks like a circle, or better yet, a spiral. You might feel like you're back at square one, but you're actually at a higher level, looking down at the old square. You have to stop the energy leaks by giving yourself permission to be unproductive in the traditional sense. If you spend a week just staring at the wall or walking in the woods, that might be the most work you've done in a year, because it's the work of reintegration. You are recalibrating your nervous system. When you stop fighting the burnout, you stop the internal friction that is generating all that heat and exhaustion. The stuckness begins to dissolve, not because you pushed harder, but because you stopped resisting the natural ebb and flow of your own growth. You are rebuilding your internal battery from the ground up, rather than just trying to jumpstart a dead one over and over again. The beauty of the reset is that it forces a level of honesty that you can't achieve when you're winning. When everything is going great and you're hitting your targets, you don't question the system. But when the system breaks, you're forced to look at the gears. You start to see that the hustle was actually a form of avoidance. You are running so fast so you wouldn't have to feel the misalignment in your life. This phase is your body and mind's way of saying, we aren't going one step further until we fix the foundation. It's enforced audit of your soul. If you can embrace this, if you can look at the void, not as a hole to be filled, but as a space to be explored, the transformation happens much faster. You start to notice small flickers of genuine interest again. Not the I should do this kind of interest, but the I want to do this kind. That is the first sign that the reset is working. Your energy isn't being forced out. It's starting to bubble up from within. You are moving from a state of doing to a state of being. And that is where the real power lies. You need to realize that this period of absolute stillness is not a sign of the end. It is the pause before the surge. In the US, we are obsessed with the takeoff, but we forget that a plane has to sit on the runway and build immense pressure before it can actually lift off the ground. If that plane tried to fly before the engines reached the right RPM, it would never clear the trees. That is exactly where you are right now. You are building the internal pressure necessary for a massive shift in trajectory. The reason you feel so behind right now is that your subconscious is preparing you for a pace of life that the old you couldn't handle. It is calibrating your focus, sharpening your intuition, and clearing out the emotional debris that would have weighed you down during the next chapter. The moment you feel the most defeated and the most disconnected from your goals is usually the exact moment you are the most prepared for the breakthrough. This karma reset is a finite phase with a very specific exit point. It doesn't last forever, though it feels like it when you're in the thick of it. The exit point appears the moment you fully surrender to the process. When you stop looking at the clock, stop comparing your day 0 to someone else's day 500, and finally accept that this pause is a gift, the door begins to reveal itself. You will notice that the things that used to feel like a struggle suddenly become effortless. The to-do list that looked like a mountain starts to look like a set of stairs. You aren't pushing against the wall anymore because the wall has turned into a hallway. This is the identity shedding reaching its completion. You have a new skin, a new operating system, and a new reservoir of energy that isn't built on caffeine or anxiety, but on a deep, grounded sense of purpose. So, stop the war. Stop the self-criticism. Stop trying to fix a breakdown that is actually a spiritual upgrade. The world will tell you to keep running, but I am telling you to be still. Let the void do its work. Let the old version of you go with grace. When you stop fighting the burnout and accept the reset, you aren't quitting, you are reloading. Trust that the pause is part of the plan. Your breakthrough isn't coming, it's already here, waiting for you to stop moving long enough to see it. This is your moment to rebuild, to breathe, and to prepare for the surge that is about to follow. The door is about to open, and for the first time in a long time, you are actually going to have the strength to walk through it. If you're done fighting yourself, type "I accept the reset" and watch what changes.